Recording in progress.
Okay. Thanks, everybody. We're going to call to order Harris County Improvement District Board of Directors meeting number 1. I'm trying to substitute as best I can for Kendall, who could not be here. Do we have any board members on Zoom? Don't think so. Members of the public, if there are any, please identify yourselves. Okay. All right, no questions, no comments from the public. All right. First order of business is to approve the minutes of the December 18th, 2024 board meeting. If I could have a motion, please.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Motion passes. Shannon, we've got a quarterly budget report, please.
Okay, thank you. On page 4 in the list, we have our year-to-date, kind of like the third quarter, only about a month in that third quarter, January through March. But we wanted you to take a look at where we are operationally in our budget year. The top section, well, the first 3 columns are the third quarter, the last 3 columns are year-to-date totals. For revenues and expenditures, you can see that we're just about on target for the revenues that were projected, as well as the litigation settlements that we projected. I will note that that budget amount of $6.08 million is based on valuations at $6.4 billion. That's what we use in the budget. However, certified today for the values is $6.7 billion, and so we expect that we will get a little bit more. But likewise, we also expect that we'll give it back next year because it's this constant push and pull. So we're hoping to be a little bit over budget, and you'll see some of the items where we have budgeted or paid for unexpected expenditures, namely the borough recovery. I highlighted that at 261 to date. We've spent 261,000 we've spent on borough recovery costs. We have been working with FEMA and Texas Emergency Department, Management Department, and we're expecting about $176,000 back to offset that 261. You can look at some of the other line items if you have questions or concerns.
One quick note, that 176 won't show up until next year's budget. Probably show up in October.
Yeah, I'm not sure that we'll get that before June is out, but we are making our way through the process, and it has been approved, so it is a process with FEMA. But anyway, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, I'd be glad to answer those. We'll present this again in April after we finish March, and we'll just keep you abreast. We're also starting to look and see what has been certified or what has been noticed, and we'll start the process of preparing our budget as well as forecasting what we think the values are going to be. And I don't think at this point we're like overzealous about any increases.
And so,
But we're doing fine is what I'm trying to read from all this. Is that right?
Yeah, we're doing fine.
Okay.
We're doing fine.
and we're planning on having a small surplus, not as big as we wanted.
Yeah.
The 261 from Borough took out.
Well, we'll get the money next year, so we'll find a use for it, or one's already been found for us, I suspect.
Yeah, got a lot of
Okay,
it.
any questions on the budget? Okay, Shannon, if you continue with the quarterly investment report, please.
Thank you. We have 2 reporting periods here for your review. The first one is July through September 30th, 2024. Again, these reports, 2 pages. The first page kind of looks at the different funds and the accounts within them. We have the general operating fund. You can see the balance there that we did between the banks of Regions, Capital One, and PNC, with just about $3.6 million in those funds. Our capital projects fund, again with Capital One and Regions, and that's about $4.4 million. And then lastly, debt service fund with just over $614,000. That is where we were in this particular period. The second page of this report looks at those deposits that require collateral and or those deposits that are invested in approved securities or investments as outlined in our investment policy. And you will see that we are sufficiently collateralized, in some cases over collateralized, and then our holdings with Regions Bank is just over 7.3, but those are in an approved investment account with Morgan Stanley Government. Also on this page, we look at the compliance training
questions, anybody?
The next two pages are the same report, only for the reporting period of October first through December 31st, 2024. Again, the same structure. What you see here is, still spending down in our funds in terms of operating expenses and some spend in the capital expense area. But nonetheless, we have just over $1.9 million in our operating accounts, just over $2.6 million in our capital projects fund account, and $621 in debt service account. Again, we are sufficiently collateralized or invested in approved investments as outlined in our policy and in compliance again with training.
Okay, any questions? Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Shannon. Next item, we have a resolution concerning the exemption for residential homesteads from taxation. Stephen?
Yes, on page 9, there's a resolution to re-adopt our homestead exemption. The district has traditionally granted $15,000 to over 65 and disabled homeowners and a 20% exemption to all homeowners. And in order to continue to do that, you need to approve the resolution on page 9.
So this is exactly what we've been doing.
Exactly what we
in the
did
past.
last year and previous years.
Okay, any questions, anybody? Could I have a motion to adopt this resolution, please, then?
Motion to adopt.
Okay, second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye, thank you. Resolution passes. Okay, Stephen, we're gonna stick with you for a minute.
Page 10 also is to continue our practice from previous years, which is to attach a 20% penalty when taxes become delinquent on June 1st, and that is used to pay the cost of collecting the taxes.
Any questions? Could I have a motion to approve the resolution, please?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Motion passes. All right. Keep on trucking.
Finally, we have President's disclosure as an investment officer under the Public Funds Investment Act. He's required to disclose if he has any ownership in any of the companies that are selling us investments, and he's disclosing that he has no such relationship, nothing to disclose.
Okay.
That's filed with the district.
And we do need a motion
To
to accept this memorandum, so if I could have a motion to accept the memorandum, please. Okay, second? Okay, thank you. All in favor? Aye. Thank you. Motion passes. Okay. Next order of business is, I'm going to turn it over to Michael, who's going to discuss a maintenance agreement with Metro for the Post Oak Boulevard bus platforms and bus stops.
Around 4 to 5 years ago, when I served, hell, John's here, he might know. The Metro, we used to do the cleaning of the bus shelters on Post Oak Boulevard and also on San Philip, Westheimer, Richmond. That got dropped. Metro for some reason dropped it. We reached out to them, Dwayne did, and I did, and we're about to do an agreement. We're looking for your authorization. Right now, and what we're doing is it's gonna be a 3-year agreement for, the total is $71,000. And what that includes is cleaning the Post Oak stations, the bus stops on Richmond, Westheimer, San Philip. We have built into it some cushion for the 3 years. It's gonna be that much for 3 years. We will be, the bus shelters and bus stops will be a lot cleaner with us doing them than with Metro doing them. We're gonna spray wash them, they're gonna replace all the glass before we get started. They're gonna bring it to their board next month if y'all approve this. First, inside it also, Dwayne found that the Post Oak, we've got a single electric line running to the stations on Post Oak Boulevard, which we run our Christmas trees and other thing off of them. But in the document, he found with talking to the electrician that 20% of that is the Metro station. So there's also roughly $20,000 a year. Is that correct, Dwayne? About $20,000 a year that we're going to get back from Metro on electric costs. So that's
Metro's agreed to that?
Metro's agreed to it.
Good.
It's about
Awesome.
19% of the electric used for the stations. They add another 1,000 just to, they don't have to go back. So part of that 71 is getting $20,000 in electricity back. The cost for cleaning is a lot less than the 52,000, but it will grow over the next couple of years.
So is it fair to say that really this sort of anticipates typical, increases in cost? And
Yes.
you feel protected and it's easier to just make it a flat amount?
I feel very good over the next 3 years that we won't lose any money off this. And then we'll renegotiate it, we'll look at it, we'll renegotiate in 3
Okay,
years.
any questions?
Yeah, what's the frequency? How often are they gonna be cleaning?
We have cleaning crews 6 days a week. We have to call, we're the only ones that call Metro to empty the trash cans. And so we will empty the trash cans before they get full. We'll actually make sure the top goes back on. You noticed that. And then we'll also frequently power wash them when they need it, when there's graffiti or somebody puts a sticker on it. So it will be, I'll tell you, they'll be driven by every single day to see if something needs to happen. We'll power wash them when needed, and we'll empty the trash a lot more frequently than Metro did. Sorry, Margaret Dunlap's here with Metro, so no offense, Margaret. So, and we're not, if any board member, anybody sees a full trash can we haven't emptied, just text us, we'll get right on it that day.
Okay, any other questions? Could I have a motion to approve entering into those two agreements?
Motion.
Second,
Second.
all in favor? Aye. Aye. Motion carries. Thank you, Michael. That sounded really nice. You did. Update on projects.
Yes, first of all, we're gonna give, next month, we're gonna give an economic development, update. We're gonna get an update on the trail and bridge. I'll talk about the trails. Police vehicles, I talked to you about police vehicles in the past where, maintenance is getting very heavy. It was averaging $9,000 a month, for, average, over the last couple of years. It was actually 11,000 last month, 2 trucks broke down. So this is very timely. The 4 vehicles currently under production as of this week. We actually have the VIN numbers. They're being manufactured at Ford facility. Silsbee Ford is the only one that actually gets the Ford Interceptors. They sell them to all the police departments locally. We've got 4 in 3 weeks. They're supposed to be completed at the Ford plant in 3 weeks. They're shipped to Silsbee Ford around mid-March. They're gonna be outfitted with all the package, all the police, the lights, the searchlight, the lights on top and everything. And then then we're probably gonna get them to do the lettering. We're still designing the lettering, but it'll look something like this. It'll look a lot closer to the HPD lettering, as close as we can. We even wanna put letters on the top, like up 1, up 2, up 3. We're gonna talk to the police chief about that. So we're gonna take delivery in April, May. We are still in negotiating with a couple banks on the best interest rates. As I told you last time, the latest lowest interest rate was 5.8% for 60 months with a 3-year warranty. So we're gonna bring this back to you to approval. We're gonna wait as long as we can to get the best deal, and then we'll bring you the contract. Did I miss anything, Chance? You good, Doc? Yeah. Did I miss anything?
No.
Any questions? So we're buying 4, we're gonna keep 2 of the trucks, and then we're gonna sell 4 trucks. We'll probably sell the 2 that broke down this past week. Crime stats, again, Uptown is safe. It's one of the safest places in the city of Houston. We've tried to compare, Bob and I have tried to compare about how you actually look at the crime rate in Uptown compared to the city. You can't do it per capita. We just don't have the overnight population is very low. But then you have high weekend populations. Christmas time, we're slammed every single Thursday, Friday, and Saturday nights. From Uptown Park to the Galleria, Sasha's place is just packed. And in between lunch. So you can't really do per capita. If you look at the total numbers of all the property crimes and personnel crimes, violent crime, we are 1% or less in every single category, except for So 1% of the total crime in the entire city happens in Uptown with the millions of people that come here every week and every year. The two that we have that pop up are theft of a motor vehicle. We have lots of parking lots, a lot of shopping. Downtown has the same problem and other shopping areas. But we've dropped 48.5% in theft of a motor vehicle from 21 to 24, and it's roughly around, it's a little bit lower, from 23 to 24. And then the biggest one is theft from a motor vehicle. Dot, if you leave your computer or something in the front seat, you probably get a tape. And so we try to spread the word. We work, the Galleria I know does, they have signs all over the place. Uptown Park's got them. And so the theft from a motor vehicle has actually dropped 30%. This will go up and down, but right now we're on the downtrend, and it's a good trend. This here, so we're 1% crime across the board. This is our highest one. It's about 2.2% of total crime in the city, and that's still really low. So when people talk about, we've been pushing with our friends at the Galleria and others. We've got some of the same public relations firm we did. The biggest issue on crime is that when it happens at Fountain View or Chimney Rock over a mile away, they say the Galleria area. And you see it on 10 o'clock news. And so we're working on that too. Every time somebody says the Galleria, we're telling, no, it's not. It's Chimney Rock and whatever. It's Westheimer and whatever. When it happens out Dairy Ashford, they say Dairy Ashford and Westheimer. Why don't they just do it here too? So we're working on it. It's Channel 11's already, they get it. The other stations, we're working with them, so hopefully we make it. And that's been going on for years and years. Lewis knows that too. Tremont Bridge, it is going really well. Clark's leading this. This is going to be the route. We're going to do a full, longer version update next week. 0.3 miles here from here to Villa Diesta. We're having good talks with Villa Diesta. We're bringing this up because we're going to start having public meetings. And the first public meeting is going to be with Villa Diesta. And the initial reactions have been very good. This is the archery range. We'll have a bridge that goes across, circles back around, goes under 610, along the Arboretum, and then all the way more, connected more and more. This is kind of what it's going to look like when you cross over the bridge and the archery range. There's going to be a little observation area depending on how we do on the budget. We're really excited about it. Clark's been out there whacking trails through the growth with our engineering and landscape team. For the first time we know of, John, you might help, and Lewis, is that the Mission Trail Ride is coming to Post Oak Boulevard. We haven't found anywhere. Delia thought they did before, but we couldn't find any record of it, and that'll be this Friday, approximately 1:30 to 2:30. They're going to come from Home Depot. We're going to have police escort. We have a cleaning crew traveling behind. It's about 160, 170 trail riders. Is this my friends? It's supposed to be motion there. 160, 170 trail riders, 8 wagons, a couple of the rodeo committee folks are going to come down. So we invite you, we invite your tenants. We've sent these flyers out to everybody and anybody in Uptown, so we're hoping that people come out. Whoever's here on Friday, even from the staff, we're going to be in front of Balboa over there. They are going to do like a 10-minute stop at Post Oak Center, front of the Galleria Furniture. They're going to pull in there. They do a 10-minute stop to make sure all their ties are tied and shirt tails are in, because when they go into Memorial Park, that's when they get judged. So that they'll go in and make sure that all the trash is picked up and the horses are looking good. We're excited. Jeremy with the Mission Trail Ride, they're coming from south of Goliad. He's a really good guy. He owns a local air conditioning company. He's put a lot of effort into rebuilding the Mission Trail Ride. It's the only Hispanic, solely Hispanic, Vaquero rides. some of the riders are coming all the way from, Monterey, Mexico. So come out, enjoy it, it's kind of cool. It'll be quick, going down the boulevard, so we won't interrupt traffic too much. Any questions on this? All right. And then we're a little bit early, but we're not, we're pretty close on timing.
We're pretty close on time, but I was gonna say, we're gonna have a brief joint meeting of both the district and the TERS and the UDA board. So everybody on the district, please bear with us for a few minutes, because we've got something very nice to do today.
Yeah.
Oh, and we're gonna honor Louis Sklar also.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Does anybody have any questions while we're waiting on anything?
Now's your chance.
Yeah. We're waiting on Judson, Randall Powers, and Lisa. Did you hear about the call we had with CenterPoint?
Today?
No, it was last week.
Oh, yes,
Yeah,
yes,
last
yes,
week.
that's great, that's wonderful.
Uh, Part of the Boulevard, Sasha Levine's center and Jonathan Center. Not direct, did you go out derecho?
Yeah,
They go out every single time there's a big wind. And so we put together CenterPoint, and they're gonna see if we can help them out. They're putting new poles in the back of there, but we actually wanna get you connected to the boulevard.
yeah, we need to get to the lofts also, at half the lofts as well.
Yeah.
We all lose power like constantly.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. It's a problem.
You have a generator?
We do, but not for the whole building and not for every tenant.
Yeah.
So CenterPoint's just having trouble getting,
So the problem is that when they redid all the work on Post Oak, they
Yeah.
put all new electrical grid and everything underneath it.
Yeah.
So most properties, they attached into Post Oak
Yeah.
Boulevard. Unfortunately, our properties and lofts, they kept on like an old school pole that just,
Okay.
a wooden pole, so, and it's, you know, who knows how many years it's been out there, decades. And so every time the wind blows a little too hard,
yeah,
it basically knocks the power out in all of our
Yeah.
properties.
oh, wow.
It trips the switch out down by Target.
So what's CenterPoint doing?
Well,
I was on the call. If I forget anything,
Besides talking.
they're looking for the connectivity to the bowl, but it's pretty expensive. Y'all's would be cheaper than yours, but they're gonna actually look at the price, just because y'all did some work, but they're replacing all the poles in the alley or the
and they didn't
back
give us the
street.
option, like we were
I would say
developing sites
when you-
to connect into the boulevard. They
Yeah.
just chose who they were gonna connect and not connect.
They wouldn't let you do it when you built the building.
Nope.
That's really crazy.
They,
The reason why I ask is we, at our high-rise in the corner there, one of our pumps to our cooling tower isn't drawing enough power, and we had a third-party engineer out there last week, and they said this is a CenterPoint issue, it's not a, I just assumed it was our building, to be honest, and it was something we
Yeah.
needed to do. So we're now engaging CenterPoint to address it, and maybe it's related, but I may follow up with
I
you
doubt
guys.
it's related, ours is really just a transformer,
Okay.
basically a transformer issue.
Got it.
It either
Transformer
blows
issues.
or goes out, or trips a
Sure.
switch, or
Yeah.
something.
Okay.
And then you can imagine when it goes out and they've got other stuff dealing with.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure.
It's days
Yeah,
before
before you
they
get
get
it
online,
replaced.
and
Oh, wow.
especially for like a restaurant.
Yeah.
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 That.
Yeah, absolutely.
Brad, if you continue to have problems, we've got the regional guy,
That'd be
manager.
great.
So tell us, keep going the way you're
Sure.
going, and then
Sure.
we'll tie that in.
I may take you up on that,
Okay.
yeah.
We need one more person.
Lisa's parking, so she's on her way up.
Listen, we're gonna be right on schedule, we're all
Yeah.
good.
The,
Yeah, they're not pleasure to deal with, so.
Yeah.
But if anybody who's under this understands it, they will cause you a change order, you just don't know for how much.
Exactly.
And they'll delay your project.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
I think they've gotten a little more responsive since Borough.
Okay, good. Okay, good. Good.
That's it? Good?
How are you? Good. Story last night. Very nice.
I mean, honestly,
Bill
they
White
need
told me to tell you hi.
realistically, they should start working on
We
burying all these.
got invited
lines
to two
as
different
well.
things last
I
night.
mean, Post Oak did it, but
I told him
all
we're
Post
going
Oak
down
not
with you,
so
and
much.
he had great things to say about it.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, I know it's expensive, but so is having power
It's the
outages
right
all
thing
over
to
the town
do.
constantly, you know? It would solve a lot of the power
Yeah.
outages, because many of the power outages that just because the branches aren't trimmed or the branch takes out a power line.
Right.
And the power line
Yeah.
then causes all these people to go out of.
Most of those other lines are buried.
Right, so
Yeah.
it would solve literally like the power outages
Well,
in
it's silly not to
Houston
use the
overall.
buried lines, I mean, we have the benefit of having them.
Right, and they're right there.
Exactly.
It wasn't a cheap proposition, but
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah, makes sense.
But they never gave us the opportunity to do it when it was under construction.
That
Yeah.
really
That's
doesn't
the
make-
problem.
That is
Yeah.
aggravating. That is aggravating.
And so I think that for the benefit, you know, for the amount of taxes that we all pay, there should be
Help out,
a benefit of getting that
Curious
done.
to see what they wanna charge you to do it.
We'll find out.
Yeah. Yeah, you will. But it's worth, long-term for you guys is long-term owners.
It is, but it, you know, it also has to be reasonable and, fair.
They're not familiar with that term.
The one,
That's why Doge is so great. As much as you like it or don't like it, I mean, it's about time someone's, you know, checking those boxes, going through those line items and seeing what's being spent on what.
Hey, Lisa.
hey Lisa, how are you?
No worries, you're good. You're good, you're good.
You really live
Okay, if I can get your attention, we're going to keep the Uptown District meeting open. We're now going to call to order the Uptown Development Authority and Reinvestment Zone number 16 City of Houston meeting. And our first order of business is really important. We're going to honor Louis Sklar. We have a motion and a proposed resolution to grant the honorary title of Director Emeritus to Louis for over 40 years of service. Now, I would actually ask all of you to turn to tab 3, page 13. And I'm going to take a minute just to stop, because I think it's important to really understand how much Louis has meant to this district for a long, long time. You know, without trying to summarize this, I mean, all of the Hines developments up and down Post Oak Boulevards came under Louis's responsibility. And so, you know, when you think about all the architecture, the design, he was telling us about the Waterwall Park, how challenging it was to do. It was actually harder in some respects than building an office building because no one actually knew how to do a water wall like that before. But as a result, we have the beautiful water wall today, and have some plans for that as well. So on a personal note, I just would like to say, before we even read this, that Louis really exemplifies the standard that one should all aspire to. We should all aspire to be a director, whether it's of a public board like this, private company, public company. He sets the standard, you know, how to act. And I've always tried to watch how he handles himself and learn from it and be better as a result of it. Nobody will ever have probably served this district as long and as well as Louis Sklar, truly. So with that, I want to read all this resolution, which you can find on page 14. And this is a resolution of the district board, because we've got other things to do as well. Whereas, for the past 38 years, Louis Sklar's visionary leadership has been instrumental in the growth and development of the Harris County Improvement District Number 1, the Uptown District, the Uptown Development Authority, the UDA, and the Tax Increment Zone Number 16, transforming these entities into key drivers of Uptown Houston's progress. Whereas, the establishment of innovative funding and organizational mechanisms, including the creation of, by the way, the first improvement district in Texas and the designation of a tax increment and reinvestment zone, set a precedent for future urban development initiatives. And whereas under his guidance on the board, Uptown Houston has become distinguished by landmark projects, including the signature stainless steel streetscape arches and gateway sign rings, even the new ones, which serve as iconic symbols of the district's identity. And whereas the transformation of Post Oak Boulevard, adorned with vibrant floral landscapes and majestic cathedral live oak trees, has elevated Uptown Houston as a model of urban beauty and elegance. And whereas the restoration, enhancement, and Memorial